hello everyone, it's your buddy Jayrassic, and I'm hoping that you're having the best day of your entire life today. And, you may notice that we are, well, basically starting a new zoo. Um, and some of you may already recognize what I'm doing. It is the Omaha Zoo. So this is actually the Omaha Zoo Reboot. And the reason why we're doing a reboot is, as you may notice, I have not been putting anything online. I haven't been posting anything on YouTube of updates with the Omaha Zoo. And the reason being is because of the fact that, A, I've been working quite a bit, but mainly because, for whatever reason, the file got corrupted. Okay, I'll be honest with you. I totally screwed up. In my haste of getting the utility blueprints out to you guys, I accidentally saved over the Omaha Zoo. It is gone. There's no way around it. I was working fairly late, very minimal sleep, trying to get that blueprint out for everyone, and nonetheless, I accidentally clicked the wrong file. And so, rest in peace, Omaha Zoo. The good thing is we got a lot of blueprints and everything, but the same token here, this is kind of a blessing in disguise, because in reality, there was so much that I wanted to do with the Omaha Zoo that I didn't get an opportunity to do so. Because A, I didn't know how till now, and B, because of the fact that I was always the Omaha Zoo was my first creation within Planet Zoo, so I wasn't really a good builder. I mean, I had the gist and I watched the tutorials and everything, but I didn't have the skill set that I have currently now. And I'm not trying to brag or anything like that, but I will say that I believe that I have a better aspect of building and how the game works and pieces to use versus what I did a year ago when I first started the program. So instead of trying to save the data off my hard drive, spend $200 or $300 to try and get that, the one that my cat broke, that she's a jerk and decided to kick off the table, and I just said, you know what, let's start over. Let's kind of pull a phoenix here and just rise from the ashes and just start over. And this time I'm actually doing more. I'm actually doing more of a parking lot where previously I didn't. I did in one of my renditions, but I didn't like it too much. It was kind of too straight. It didn't have the natural curves that the Omaha Zoo has, with the nice hilly terrain and the elevated, where 13th Street was a little bit higher than the main level of the front entrance of the Omaha Zoo and everything. And honestly, I tried using height maps almost for the whole week straight. I tried to use height maps after I lost it, and I'm sorry, I try, but I cannot get that height map to work whatsoever. It's just so jagged and it's just janky. So nonetheless, I just gave up on it completely. Not quite sure what I'm doing right here, but I do see that the screen is not moving right now. There we go. See, that's what happens when you just kind of shoot from your hip. Just finally you see something, and you know what? I don't want to go ahead and start over, so we're going to continue on. But anyways, moving forward. So there was a lot of things that I really wanted to incorporate into the Omaha Zoo that I didn't have a chance to do before. And one of them was, of course, this magnificent parking lot. The drive into the front entrance and the main parking area is actually very scenic. It kind of transforms from the city into this kind of like a surreal type atmosphere that you are going into the animal kingdom. And they have a lot of lush vegetation and foliage around the entire drive-through all the way through and whatnot, and it's just all in all very, very immersive. And I want to try and capture that within this zoo. So moving along, um, it basically comes down to getting that aspect in there alongside with some other things with the Omaha Zoo that I didn't before. One thing, for example, when I first started building this zoo, um, that front entryway was actually created by Aquaman 22, if I remember correctly. Um, it's been about a year or two since I downloaded that blueprint, and it's a decent blueprint. It's great. However, the downside with it is the fact that it's not ground level. It's not too proportionate of what from in-game to real life. It's just like he plopped things down here and there and made it work, and it did work. It did. It was great. But now that I have more of an advanced building ability to do now than what I did before, especially with the train tools and stuff like that, and now that we have a lot of panels, we'll be able to get that. Now, one thing you may see here is that I am doing the Edward Rosewater School. I'm kind of rebuilding that here. And you're probably wondering, why are we building a school? Well, one of the things that I saw in a lot of different videos of people recreating their zoos is they're not just recreating the zoo itself. They're creating the surrounding area. And they're basically kind of making the zoo more real. Now, your high piece is going to be a little bit higher. Yes, that is correct. Your GPU is probably going to fry if you have too much detail out there. But you know what? In the same respect, though, it is freaking cool with what these people are doing. And then all I can say is I wanted to do that. I mean, what can I say? It looked cool with everyone else, so why not I try it? So this is where the Edward Rosewater School comes into play. And this is where I believe that it is important for me it was important to get this in here, because this is going to be the first building along 13th Street. I'm going to try and build up all the buildings that extend to the whole length of the map. So what's going to be nice for that, for you as a player, that if you're not good with building small shells and stuff like that, and you kind of want to do the same thing, I'm going to put every single building that I make for this game on Steam. So make sure you subscribe to my workshop if you haven't already. Follow me on there so you get notifications of when the next blueprints are up. Also, speaking of which, we do have Discord now. I do got a few people in there. We don't talk much or anything like that, but if you want to follow along, chat, invite people as well to it, and also I'll let you know when we're going to start streaming and so forth like that. Which honestly, I guarantee you're going to want to follow along, because I have a huge announcement coming up here in the beginning of March, I believe. We're going to try and announce it around the next DLC that drops with Planet Zoo. And if everything goes to play, we may have a very large celebrity actually on the premiere with us. So it is a huge thing in the works right now. Gecko Boy, as well as Old Country and I, are all collaborating together on this whole thing. I actually just got done with my first week. Honestly, I didn't get even a full week. We got together probably last Monday, and sure enough, we went ahead and I didn't probably start building to probably Thursday, and I had to give them back the file. I had to give Old Country the file on Sunday, which was not enough time compared to what we wanted to say about everyone having a whole week. But I'm not complaining, because I'm happy with what I got done, and I'm really excited to see what the other guys are going to create. So back to the build itself. A little background on this. The Edward Rose School was built in 1910. It's going to give a little history lesson, so pay attention here. So the Edward Rosewater School actually replaced a previous school called the Forest School that stood in the exact same spot before. And it's named after a man who played a major role in the development of the city of Omaha. The building itself was designed by architect Frederick W. Clark, and it's considered to be in the second Renaissance revival style. Basically, that just means that it was simply designed and inspired by architecture of Imperial Rome. The school formally opened on June 3rd of 1911 after being completed at a cost of only $100,000. Plus, back in 1911, $100,000, that was a buttload of money. Edward Rosewater himself was born in 1841 from Bukowan, Bohemia. Him and his parents immigrated to Ohio in 1855, where he became a telegrapher, which he learned a lot of information, basically, where he was able to get into politics. He was later actually elected as a Republican to the Nebraska House of Representatives in 1870. During this time in office, Rosewater attempted to win passage of the bill to provide for an elected school board in the city of Omaha. To gain support from the public voters, Rosewater began publishing in what he would later be called the Omaha Bee. However, initially, Rosewater did not intend this publication to be a true newspaper because of the public support and the successful passage of the bill on May 6, 1872. He's changed his mind. Early in the newspaper's history, the article focused primarily on Rosewater's opinions and views, including his feuds with various different suffragists as well as politicians. For example, of the success of this publication in 1894, Rosewater and the Bee rallied for an eventual governor of the state. The newspaper promoted various forms of development in Omaha, such as the Trans-Mississippi Exposition of 1898. Of course, Rosewater passed away in 1906, and the school stayed in force. It was, it actually stayed as a school all the way to, I believe, in 1983. Where the Rosewater School, along with 5 other Omaha schools, were closed. Basically, they ended up selling them, and they were originally going to turn this into the community actually wanted to turn into a community center. Unfortunately, the school board was not able to raise enough funds for the renovations. In fact, when it was purchased in 1984, the building sold for $175,000, and on top of that, it took us $750,000 more worth of renovations. Which honestly, today, if you were to buy that today, you would be looking at almost the purchase price about $425,000 and renovations at $1.8 million. Yeah. But I think they did a pretty decent job. I mean, it's been since the renovations were done well over 30 years ago, or nearly, about 30 years ago. And then on top of that, when I first saw it in person last year, I vaguely remember, but seeing a lot of pictures and so forth, it seemed like pretty ran down. However, they must have just done some recent upgrades to the building, because a lot of the grunge details and everything that I put in here, there's some new pictures on Google of this building that actually show it in a pretty good pristine light here. So I think that's pretty cool that they are still taking care of this historical landmark in the city of Omaha. So about the build itself, besides just a little history lesson, as you can see, I'm using a lot of limestone, concrete, and the classic build. I have actually never did a classic build before, so this was new for me. Right here is actually probably my favorite part of the build was the clock tower, or the bell tower. It took me some ingenuity. I tried a lot of different pieces, as you're going to see here. I mean, I did everything from the India pack to even some mods, African pack. I mean, I just could not find any. Finally, what I kind of started thinking outside of the box. I'm like, oh, well, I could take this roof piece and just kind of make a dome and just do the whole turn or dome type build style. And as you can see, that's exactly what I did, and I think it turned out really well for this particular build. Now, of course, it didn't look exactly like it did in the picture, so I brought in some wood pieces to try and get that working a little better. Now, of course, the windows themselves don't look exactly like they do in the game or in real life, but in all reality, my whole intent for this was not to be such a detailed build, but just basically kind of like a scenery piece to have around the zoo, not to actually be part of the zoo. So as for the level of details that I put into it, I honestly, I think I put too much into it. I should have just slapped some brick, a little bit of limestone, some windows, and be done with it. So, but yeah, so I think it worked out pretty good. Here, as you can see, I put in a little bit of vegetation on it. I end up using some railings as well, just getting it exactly the way I saw it on the Google Maps and so forth. And I think it's some pretty good ramifications. And as you know, I may go ahead and create a blueprint of the completed building as a whole, and then also put this one here as well. So I'm going to be putting a lot of different buildings onto the Steam Workshop here, as we're going ahead and building the entire neighborhood. So definitely make sure you follow me on Steam if you haven't already, so that you can go ahead and take a look at those. So we're going to go into the B-roll here in just a minute, so hang tight, and here we just about go. Hey everyone, we're back with the B-roll here with live walkthrough, and you know, like I said, it's not going to be too long of a walkthrough because obviously there isn't much to go over. It's a very simplistic build. Well, for the most part, it's pretty simplistic, but I just kind of wanted to get some get you guys a little close up and so forth of this. Now, like I mentioned earlier about the grunge details, I really wanted to emphasize that this building had a lot of wear and tear in it. And you know, that is definitely the case here, and I think it shows. Like here's a picture of it as well from Google Maps. As you can see, there's a lot of vines and so forth like that. Limestone's pretty dirty. Actually, this picture is showing it pretty clean. The first reference picture I had, there was a lot of grime and dirt along the concrete over here. There was bicycles laying all over the place. I mean, all in all, it was a pretty grungy sight, and I'm like, eh. But, you know, what's funny, I've been to the Omaha Zoo so many darn times that I never noticed this building before, but, you know, this is definitely a building that I probably like to take a look a little further. As for building it, I'm probably going to go ahead and do, as I mentioned earlier, have this one shell that I'll put on the workshop, and I'll probably maybe do another build of the entire you know, full side of it, so then that way people can have it for their zoos. So but yeah, so I think we caught a pretty good realism to it for the most part. And you know, like I said, this is just a shop shell, or just a shell, nothing inside, no one's home. In fact, I mean, I didn't even really do anything inside at all with it, you know. Just a lot of the exterior, just to kind of give that aesthetic look that you're driving through 13th Street in Omaha, Nebraska, on your way to the Henry Doorly Zoo. So, and of course we have this whole area blocked off, but as you can see, we've got it sloped down and so forth. I'm not going to go too far, but you know, I'm going to plan on building the highway and stuff like that, and kind of get that all in. So yeah. So there you have it, first episode. I know it's not too exciting, but hey, at least we got a building involved with this one, and not just staring at a parking lot speed build the whole time, right? So if you like these type of videos, these speed builds, definitely make sure you like it, show your support, and help the channel grow. And if you're your first time subscriber, trust me, the videos do get better than this, and so do the elaborate builds. So if you want to go ahead and take part of those, make sure you go ahead and subscribe as well. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, this is Jayrassic signing out. Goodbye, everyone. Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, make sure you smash that like button and put a comment down below. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe to my weekly release content. You can follow me on Steam, Discord, Twitch, Twitter, and now even Facebook. Until next time, build, play,